Put him down. Put him down. I'm not looking up.
3, 2,
Welcome back to the Agony of Positivity podcast. Please, nobody jump the railing to try to prove a point. I am Ross, joined, as always,
by Saul, getting the heat.
Yes. If you've listened to our show and you're not a wrestling fan, we are somewhat mocking the dude who went over the railing at AEW for some reason.
Yes.
Whatever. Who... Apparently now when you jump the railing in wrestling, you create a character and a Twitter, and you act like you're a wrestler.
I'm thinking the reason he jumped the guardrails because he needs more medication.
And he was hoping that...
Being in a state.
Like, honestly, jumping the railing at a wrestling show is... worse than like football games or soccer games where people like try to streak down the field or something.
Yeah.
Like it's disruptive, but there's like, okay. You don't have to worry about like, well, maybe in the old days, like I was going to say like Lawrence Taylor's not going to go out of his way to chase you down and just blast you. Whereas all stories of wrestlers is they don't want to have to worry about that constantly. So they really want to deter people from ever doing that. So you are going to get hurt. But so how's your week been?
My week has been pretty good. Nothing too exciting. All the cleaning trucks, my work, all died.
Like, did people not put oil in them?
Like the machines just crapped out, like broke. So we don't have any trucks, and I forgot to tell you that. So I'll tell you more about that off screen here. I guess.
Yeah, that's bad news.
Sure. So it's been a lot of not really doing a lot this week.
I believe it. My week has been pretty uneventful as well. I did buy ice cream cones yesterday, like the cake style cones. Man, they're good. You ever do that? Where you just put like enough ice cream to level out the top of the cone? Because you really just want cone and ice cream, like not with like a ton of ice cream on top of it.
Yeah. Have I ever done that before? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I know some people think it's a shame if you get like an ice cream cone and there's not like a 1.5 feet of ice cream on the top of the cone. Like, well, at that point, I'm just going to put it in a bowl.
Yes. That's why I don't really like ice cream cones. I always get like a milkshake. It's messy.
Yeah.
I don't like being messy when I'm eating something.
I typically go milkshake. I think what kicked off the cone desire is we went to a Dairy Queen, and they have like the dreamsicle dipped cone. Where it's got like the orange, like the orange dreamsicle stuff or whatever, and it was super good. And because it's got that coating to it, it's real easy to get down to where it's just cone and ice cream. And then Kroger had Edie's ice cream for like $1 or something stupid. So I was like, well, even though I don't particularly like Edie's ice cream, I mean, if they want to give me money, I'll love them. But it is definitely no Breyers.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, that was basically my excitement for the week, was eating 5 ice cream cones last night and being like, what am I doing with my life? So,
sure.
All right. So we are shooting for a quick one today. You want to just jump right into wrestling real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
I don't know what the hell's going on here, folks. Looks like he's just wearing blue. This is a revolution.
All right. So do you want to talk about AEW or the sad news of Bayley being injured?
I didn't even know anything about Bayley being
Yes. Apparently, Bayley... So, now this is all things that have been reported like as we always say, we don't know anybody, so we don't know nothing except what we read. So we kind of
Also, dirt sheet type information.
Yeah, basically. Well, I think this is. I mean, they talked about it on SmackDown last night, but yeah. So she had the initial thing said, "Oh, Bayley was injured training, and she's going to be out for 9 months." And then I laughed because the initial comments were like, "Oh my God, it's her back from carrying the company for so much of the pandemic. It finally gave out." Because I don't know if you watched a lot of SmackDown at the beginning, but she definitely was someone who did a very good job of being entertaining, especially when they had like the empty building, basically. So it's nice to see that she's getting the credit for what she did. I think the Ding Dong Hello show is super weird because it's like a completely.
I saw it at WrestleMania. Yes, I didn't understand it.
The one at WrestleMania, that was an outlet. It's weird in general. Like she's like a bizarre villain, but the WrestleMania one, like if you throw that one away, the others are more in line with each other from what I've seen. Again, don't follow a ton of, like we're more AEW related, but yeah, like it's just good to see that an awful lot of people were like, oh man, because I mean Bayley's good in the ring. She's done a pretty good job of turning herself from what you would think would be a permanent good guy or good girl character to a villain that you can actually root against, but you still like. So, unfortunate, but yeah, I guess they were doing like a training thing. Like they have like a return to road training that they were wanting the people to do, and some weird thing happened, and she got injured during that. Apparently, unfortunate though to be this close to having fans and you get injured.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Yeah.
And then, Roman was on SmackDown. Roman, no surprise, killing it.
Did he?
They did not address. No, they all hugged. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, there was a little DUI incident over there.
Yes.
Whatever. Like, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. I would think that people would be like, "Dude, what are you doing?" Like, one, it's dangerous. Two, you got a pretty big spotlight on you.
Yeah, I'm surprised Fox is not really like saying something there. Like, you need to address this.
Yeah, I mean they might. Like that's one thing that's interesting that they didn't have to worry about a ton before. In like years past, was the deals with the network weren't so crazy, but the amount of money Fox gave them, they probably have a more of an interest.
Yeah, I'd say something.
But yeah, I think, I guess WWE, it's either this week or next week, is going to be back on the road, like doing the live shows too. So that'll be good for them. The Thunderdome played itself out, I would say, pretty quickly.
According to Lana, because I listened to her on Jericho.
Yeah.
I think everyone is going to be happy that the Thunderdome is done. So.
Did the talent not like it, or like the wrestlers, or?
Just because from what I gather from her, that you could Vince and stop it and make them redo it over and over again because Vince,
Vince does Vince things.
Well, maybe not neurotic, but he likes things done his way.
Yeah.
And if he didn't like it how it came off, he made.
Yeah, you'd end up redoing it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Well, you want to move to, so AEW is back in front of crowds. I'm sure there's a part of them they're like, great, now we're going to have to deal with people jumping the railing again. But,
Sure.
Yeah, so this was a pretty good show, I thought. First one back, so people were into stuff. Kicked off with Cody, which the quarter-hour ratings breakdown, this was the high point of the show. For those that care about that. Crowd was into Cody. Or the crowd was into the fact that this has got to be the last match between these two.
Yes.
They're just like, thank you, it's going to be over. The match itself was really good, I thought, for a strap match. I've never really been a big fan of that stipulation.
I sent a text to you about his gear. I like this gear.
Yeah, I think I'm glad. I was getting ready to talk about QT and how much you like him. Just those
QT's gear was awesome.
that bowling shirt zip up and Cody. It reminds me of Homelander because of the big shoulder things, which would be fitting if he was ever going to be a bad guy. But we'll have to see how it ever goes. So Cody wins. He hits like the rolling crossroads 3 times. What do you think? I've seen some people get like critical of him like hitting some people with the finisher like 2 times where he holds on and does it again to get the pin. Yeah. Because then it's like, well, if you need to do it more than once, it's not a finisher. Yeah, or do you think it's fine? He's just trying to.
I think it weakens your move. Like, I don't know. It makes it, like you said, it makes your move look like it's not that powerful.
Right. Well, I mean, he's basically made the crossroads is like the attitude adjustment from Cena, where it beats most people, but it's at the point where if you kick out of one crossroads, it's not really a surprise.
Yeah.
Now, this one, I think hitting it like the 3 times so QT would stay down so he could touch the turnbuckles was fine. It's just that he started doing the roll. Like, I don't know what else he's going to do for a finisher. Like, I'm
not a big fan of that finisher anyway. But,
I will say the people in AEW are generally better at taking it than some of the people in WWE were. Similar to true. When...
I've seen some old footage of WWE people where they just look terrible doing it.
Yeah. Now, I would assume if you find one where Kofi takes it, it's going to be awesome. Much like when Moxley was using the headlock driver. Like, some people could make it look awesome, and other people, it was just like, dude, all you got to do is fall forward. Like,
sure.
Like, get the women who are taking Ty Conti's hammerlock DDT and get them taking this move. They'll make it look like it'll kill you.
Sure.
That match is over. Hopefully that's the end of it. Cody can go back to being a dad for a while. And
a little foreshadowing. The lights went out there in his match, and Cody looked perturbed, which I thought was good. Knowing the bigger picture,
yes,
I'm like, that looks pretty good. I mean, he played it off like it was part of it was
unintended. Yeah, I like because he just kind of like stopped, looked, threw his hand up, like, hey, what's going on, and then went on, and it was like, that could very well be part of an angle because first show back, it's obvious they're gonna try to do something cool.
Was it Florida having a hurricane?
Yeah, I'm assuming they were gonna do that either way.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
but it just worked out.
It plays off like, okay, they're having problems because
Yeah, but that worked out really good. That was a nice little touch. I mean, AEW's real bad that they use the lights going out for stuff a lot, but it is the simplest method to have someone all of a sudden appear. Because people just running down the ramp isn't nearly as exciting as all of a sudden somebody's somewhere, depending on who it is. So this part was one of my favorite things about this episode is Sean Spears is in the back and he's cutting a promo. And it's actually a pretty decent promo. And just all of a sudden, he just gets blasted by a chair.
I thought that was pretty funny.
So Sammy came across as pretty intense. Sean Spears is coming across a lot better now to me.
Yes.
I mean, I've liked Sean Spears, I think, but I've been uninterested. The slight craziness to his character and just being surrounded by a strong group gives him a little bit more.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that deterred his character from becoming something.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic, because they was doing that finding his partner, which they had to call short because of the pandemic, and then it seemed like he was picking up again, and then Brody Lee's death, I think, affected him.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of things that affected his character. Hopefully, he's getting back on track.
Oh, and I assume Tully, being older with pandemic going on, was gone for a while just to be on the safe side.
Exactly.
From getting sick. So that led to the super weird Tully on his underwear thing. which also led to an excellent Tully Blanchard promo.
Yes. So hopefully this character's back on track. So.
Yeah. Now, in the beginning, when him and MJF sat around gambling, I thought that was excellent stuff. Like, that just made me laugh.
It kind of reminded me old of APA stuff. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, there was definitely a feel to it. I mean, they worked with what they had, and they did at least a suitable job. I think they did pretty good, but I'm a little bit biased. Obviously, we talk about AEW pretty much weekly, so we're definitely on the homer side to it.
Sure.
So we got what I think everybody that is for AEW is wanting. AEW champion Kenny Omega comes out, and they are talking about everybody he's fought, all that stuff. Crowds chanting for Hangman, which I'm sure Tony Khan is like, great, because that's what I wanted him to do eventually.
Sure.
Dark Order comes out. Evil Uno is basically doing kind of the same thing as last week, but it goes a little bit further. Kenny Omega with the very old capital of Thailand low blow joke, which I honestly forgot about and did not see coming. So when he did that and then just kicked him, I lost it. Like, I was so delighted between Sean Spears just randomly having a chair thrown at him and then this. I was loving wrestling at this point. So they're beating everybody up. Hangman finally comes out to make the save. Not to challenge Kenny, but he was coming out to save his friend, I assume is what they're going for. Takes everybody out, but he does not. He gets ready for the buckshot, but he doesn't pull the trigger.
They did the stare.
Yeah. So, which is what they did at the end of the Revolution match, when they had or when they beat the Bucks and defended for the titles or whatever it was. So I'm wondering if we're picking up where they intended to go in a weird way or what it is. But either way, the crowd was super into it.
I think they're going to be the match at all out. So.
Yeah, so you think, because there's like two camps of people. There's one who think it needs to be at all out because that's where his two biggest failures are, because he lost the Jericho match for the belt, and then they lost the tag titles at all out.
He also lost to Joey Ryan there.
Well, didn't he win the match, but then Joey Ryan came out and laid him out, and Penis Druids pulled him away? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either because it was such a goofy storyline. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but either way, like, but yeah, so I feel like it's fine to do it. Like, the iron's as hot as it's going to get, probably. Him losing, unless, like, I don't think you need to draw it out anymore. The crowd's accepted that they want him.
Yeah.
It's time to do it. Like, you might be cutting Omega's story short a little bit, but he still has other belts that he's going to have to drop, so that's still got to wind down. And, unless they want to do... the only thing I can think of, and I don't know the dates, but because they're doing the New York show, which is going to be a big deal, unless they want to have something screwy it all out, and then to not guarantee, but to try to make sure that show sells out at that crazy arena, that's where it's going to happen, and the title change is going to happen on TV.
It could be. I don't know.
Like, I could see something like that, but I mean, it seems like the crowd wants him. Like, probably.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know who you could defend the belt to. If not him, you know. I assume the belt would be defended all out. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, like, if he were to lose at All Out, but it was like the biggest cheating thing ever. So Tony Khan makes the rematch for the New York show.
Gotcha.
But I mean, honestly, you could probably have Proud and Powerful against FTR headline that show and it'd be fine. Or Proud and Powerful being from, they're the New York guys, have them win the tag belts there or something.
That's what I would do. Yeah.
Like, that'd be pretty big. And you're saying, like, we really have faith in tag team wrestling, which they seem to.
As much as I like heel Bucks, I think it's time for someone else to have the belt.
Yeah, well, and I mean, half the fun of a heel tag team is, or a heel champion, is when the good guy finally wins.
Yes.
And then you have the good guy get screwed eventually, and you go back to having a good guy chase the bad guys.
Yes.
So there is. Did you watch the Ethan Page Darby sit down promo?
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. What do you think on it?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Like, I'm excited to see the match.
I don't know a lot about their past, but
right. But you could kind of tell. I mean, obviously there was something there, and kind of the way they did it. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited to see the match anyway. So that's fine. But the fact that they're, like, it got me a little bit more into the match, basically. 6-man tag. So I thought so I don't particularly like or dislike Hager, character-wise or whatever. But I thought in this match, I don't know if maybe it's because he was wearing, like, different gear or what was going on, but I thought he really shined pretty good in this match.
Okay.
Like, that was the one, like, it was a fine match. Like, it was a good match. It wasn't, like, the craziest thing ever, but, I mean, you kind of expect with the people in the ring that it's going to be pretty good. It was kind of the Wardlow show to some degree. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. Santana looks way bigger to me.
Yeah, it looks like he's been working out a little bit.
Yeah. Did Ortiz look slimmer to you? It was hard to tell because he had his.
Because he's not wearing his hair like he used to wear.
Well, I just mean like body wise, but he usually has like the overalls on, so it's hard to. You don't usually see.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, he had those overalls and he had his hair all puffy.
But now he has like the runner shirt or what, I don't know what you call that style, where you cut everything except for the front and back out, tucked into your pants. Weird style, but yeah, it looked like he was a lot smaller, but it could just be like the different style made it look a little bit different. I like that Conan just got blasted by Tully at the end.
Sure.
And then I don't know. So yeah, but I mean, I thought this was fine. It's Pinnacle picks up a win off like the confusion, basically.
The only thing I got from like at the end of this was the Pinnacle's theme music sucks. They need different music.
It's like they're going for like big epic music.
Well, they're going for like the Horseman music, and I don't think they achieve it.
Yeah, I mean, it might be one of those things where it needs to be around for a while until you actually associate it with a big deal.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you think? So I'm trying to. I am of two minds on this. Is Pinnacle going to be the first one to have all the men's titles? So I assume like FTR with the tag belts, MJF with the world title, and then Wardlow or Spears are going to have the TNT title. Do you think it's going to be them, or is it going to end up being Hangman and the Dark Order, kind of as a faction where Hangman has the world, Dark Order has the tag, and then probably 10 brings the TNT title home to them?
No.
I think
it'll be if
they're going to do it.
Groups,
there's
two groups. It's going to be the Pinnacle.
I think that's probably more likely. Now, you might see it switch, but yeah, it feels like probably giving them the first group to collect all the belts, like all the AEW belts, because the Elite are pretty close. They just don't have the TNT title. I don't think anyone in the Elite really want to fight Miro currently, because I wouldn't. So we are going to get Jon Moxley defending the IWGP US Championship against Carl Anderson.
Yeah.
So they're going to be fighting. Yeah, they're going to be fighting for the IWGP US Championship, which is the belt Jon Moxley holds. Machine Gun, he really wants the IWGP US Championship.
Yeah.
So this match will be for the IWGP US Championship. I don't know if you noticed how many times they said the name of the title during that little promo.
Oh yeah. They said
but it was like, I was like, "Are you? So is this match for the IWGP US Championship?"
Just so you know, that's what it was.
If I were to win the lottery, like today,
Yeah,
I would do my best to get front row seats for this show and hold up a sign that says, "I'm not quite sure what title this match is for. Could you please tell me 7 or 8 more times?"
yeah.
So if you see that, you'll know that it's me and that I've won the lottery.
Yes.
Or came into a large amount of money. But yeah, so I think it'll be a good match. Good to see the IWGP US Championship defended on Dynamite.
Sure.
So we got the MJF. This is where the thing we were talking about at the beginning intro kind of happened.
The mentally disturbed person. Yeah.
Yes. So the fact that Jericho was in the ring, like, I assume MJF has ran into this in real life because, again,
Sure.
people have some problems. But Jericho is probably one of the best people to have in the ring for this as far as like handling it and keeping your segment on track.
Sure.
Someone was saying that there were moments during this where they noticed like Jericho holding up like 2 or 3 fingers or whatever. And it correlated, like it worked really well to the time that was remaining in the segment. So they were thinking that they were keeping time that way because the theory was that MJF gets a little bit carried away and isn't like, it's hard to know sometimes when you've talked for 2 minutes, especially if you're getting into it. So kind of as a way to keep like if time was tight, I don't know. I didn't really notice it for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, Jericho's been doing it for such a long time, so it makes sense that he would know. Like, hey, you're being long-winded, or
be like, oh, we need to wrap it up. Well, yeah, and someone was like, yeah, there was a part where MJF was about to go on a rant, and Jericho kind of cut him off. And they're like, I think that was him making sure not to blow the time or something.
It could be.
But either way, I mean, it just shows it's kind of cool if that is what was happening. It's kind of cool once in a while to see like the little things that I didn't notice it live. I read something about it and I was like, oh yeah, I could see that, but like smoke and mirrors.
I knew Jericho would come out with a T-shirt, and he did.
Yes,
God of War. So
I mean, he has to love, because he's a pretty creative guy, the fact that with like pro wrestling tees and AEW, like you can do something and have a shirt the next day.
Sure.
Whereas the one I will go back to is RKO out of nowhere.
Yeah.
6 months after that fad, they got the RKO out of nowhere shirt. You know when a good time to have done that would have been? 6 months before it. So
yes.
Like, because you get like, there's times where it's like, oh, I would totally buy a shirt of that, but 4 months from now, nah, it's not nearly. I don't need that shirt. Yeah. But if you would have had it the day before, I might have bought it, or the day after. But yeah, so I mean, this was pretty much. This was good. This was a very good back and forth, but I can't say like, oh, it blew me away, because I expected it to be really good. I do like that MJF is being like, remember what you did to John Moxley? That's basically what I'm going to do to you. Funny how that works, kind of deal. Like, reap what you sow. And Jericho sold it with his facial expression, where he was like, oh, this is going to suck. Like,
well, and I bet if at least one person will be part of the inner circle that he has to fight, probably Sammy.
Oh, that would be interesting. But there's because each match is going to have its own stipulation.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be real interesting.
I just have a feeling that's what he's going to do. He's going to make Jericho fight Sammy.
That would be pretty evil.
Yep.
I had not thought about that idea at all, but yeah, there's all kinds of interesting things they could do then. Like that, yeah. I was thinking he'd just have them fight the Pinnacle, but yeah, I like that idea. But like -1 in a last man standing match.
Yes.
Oh,
Fight
okay.
-1, and the next week fight Miro.
That would be a rough 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, if he survives -1, if it's a kendo stick match, it
Yeah.
might be. The kid doesn't do worked. It's all shoot. All right, so we got Britt Baker. This was fine, but I was kind of at this point, so much good stuff had happened. It was hard for me to be super into this.
Well, and I'm tired of Nyla Rose being into the title picture. I mean, she did her part. Let's get somebody else in. I don't know.
Right.
But she's only heel, so that's the only problem with this.
Well, yeah, she's like
And
the most
other heel-
credible.
Yeah, because Britt Baker is a heel. I hate to tell you.
Yeah.
So you have two heels being. I don't know. I just.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
it'll be a good match, and we'll see where they go from there. Hopefully, 'cause it sounds like they got some people coming back to the U.S. now. So,
Sure.
so Andrade with his black mask look against Sydal.
Yes.
So this match, because I didn't realize Matt Sydal was ranked number 5. Like, he's slowly been racking up wins here and there that I haven't even really noticed. He is excellent at being where he needs to be in a match. Like, for some reason, it was probably the double jump moonsault thing, like where he lands on his feet, the guy rolls out of the way, and then he hits it anyway. Like, he moved perfectly for that. And then just in general, like, I'm not like, oh yeah, Matt Sydal needs to be the world champion, but he's definitely very good in ring. Like, his matches are good, and it's taken me a while because he probably got totally disrailed from everything when the whole Shooting Star Press slip happened.
Yeah.
Like that was a big setback, but he is proving that although he doesn't interest me a ton, I know he's going to be good in the ring.
I like Andrade's outfit.
Yeah, like the pinstripe. I was wondering if it was
pinstripe.
intended to be like the Yankees, or if we just like any pinstripe that's white and black or white and navy.
We just associate with the Yankees.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, I like the look.
If you were from Boston, this conversation would be very different right now. Biggest heel in the world is Andrade with his stupid Yankee pinstripes.
Just so everyone knows, I don't really care one way about baseball. So I have no loyalty to the Yankees at all. So.
So Andrade wins, not surprised. Decent match. Like, it's not like the world didn't change, but it shows kind of what he can do. Andrade, weird hammerlock flatliner is the finisher. I wonder if he's not using the DDT because Ty does it.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. He needs another one.
I like the idea, though, that maybe he's not doing that because Ty is doing it.
Yeah, sure.
Like, her version is different, though, because he hooked the leg, almost like a Russian leg sweep when he used to do the hammerlock DDT. I like Ty's version a little bit better because it's quicker, I feel like.
Sure.
Again, and the women have just been literally DDTing themselves for real for that move. So unless he's going to get the same commitment of concussions from the men, just like someone that athletic, he's got to be able to find something better. Or use like Edge. Remember when Edge was using the Impaler DDT where it was like that lift up DDT?
Yeah, see, I don't like that one either. But yeah, I do remember that.
Like, I like that as a DDT.
I'm a very simple man. I like simple DDTs, powerbomb.
Yeah,
just simple stuff.
yeah. The powerbomb's always a good move. Like, it's hard to unless you just like wreck somebody with it.
I didn't like I don't like Batista's bomb. That's
I don't like sit out power bombs. Now
Yeah.
so the Blue Thunder Bomb, where they do like, you know, like almost backdrop and then they rotate it into the sit out power bomb. I think Blue Thunder Bomb's amazing. But yeah, just like a normal sit out power bomb, I don't like it. Nyla Rose's is actually pretty good. Like something about the way that Batista did it, just, I don't know. I feel like he was so muscular that you would just expect pure power, like just like a nasty Scott Norton snap power bomb or something from him. Yeah. All right, so we got a surprise even for people who were expecting this. They were starting to interview Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
And I'd love so if Arn or Cody get interrupted, it's always like they're actually about to talk about something real. Yeah. And then it doesn't, because Cody got interrupted the one time because he was about to address MJF. And he got cut off. I'd love to know what Arn was going to talk about here. It was probably nothing. Like, there's probably nothing that was actually planned, but they just wanted it to seem that way. So, Aleister Black, formerly, Tommy End, but currently his character is Malachi Black, is in the ring. Crowd goes pretty crazy for it. Yeah. Black Mass to Arn. Cody gets into the ring. He eats the Black Mass too. I'm assuming they're still going to call it Black Mass. Someone had posted, they were in the crowd and they got a photo of Cody getting hit with it. And it's like flush on.
Well, isn't Tommy in Malachi, whatever? Yeah. Isn't he like an actual kickboxer?
He trains kickboxing and some other disciplines. Yeah. So, so earlier or the day before or the day of, he kind of posted something on his Instagram that's like kind of like what Moxley did, which is a video where he's kind of like in a sanitarium type place. And they're basically talking about like the last 5 years have been real, but a delusion, basically. Like, the way he's seen things happening is not what really happened. Like, that's how I kind of took it. They bring up Matthew injuring his eye, which is Buddy Murphy's actual name, is Matthew. I think he uses Matt Silva. And his eye, they address, they're like, oh, the eye's healing up very nicely, but it's not 100% yet. So he's going to finish that out. Like, it makes me think them talking about it healing, it'll eventually go away, but it's going to be phased out.
That's some commitment that you're still continuing a storyline from another organization.
That's great. Well, I had watched. He was on Twitch answering some questions on what's her name's Thea Trinidad or whatever her.
His wife.
Yeah. Talking about like some of the stuff that he was planning. Because he was going to be doing like that Dark Father character, and they did like the animation and all that stuff for him. And he was like, oh yeah, he was like, these are all the things I wanted to do. He had like, came up with like a legitimate backstory for like a couple sayings and things like that, where it's like, probably, and he was like, it probably never would have made it onto TV, but he was like, but for me, I wanted it to have like a reason for it. So if it ever came up, oh, that's why this character thinks this way or says this, you know, this is one of his sayings and this is why, like that kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, he's super into carrying it over. And he was like, yeah, I wanted to keep the eye injury because people aren't dumb. Like, you can't just make something like that go away. And I think you sent me a message. It was like, well, it was awful nice of them to let him basically have a character built up on their show and then him finishing it out in AEW. So
because I remember some of the SmackDown promos that he had.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
Well, and the thing is, like, I thought his NXT run was fine. Like, he was really good in the ring, and he didn't resonate with me, but it was like, okay, this guy's pretty good. And then on the main roster, it was like, what are they doing with this guy? Because you could tell that, like, it's kind of like with Hangman, like, there were periods where the crowd wanted him to do something. Like, they were accepting of him. And then they just didn't really do anything with it. So, obviously, like, this crowd was a good place for him to show up. they kind of played it as like, because Excalibur was like, oh, that's Tommy End. I've wrestled him 15 years ago or however long it was. He was like, something's not right. That is something. I don't think that's the Tommy End that I knew. Like one of those kind of things.
People were getting down on
Oh, you're muted all of a sudden.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
People were getting down on Excalibur for saying that's Tommy End. That's not Tommy End. But that's if you watch his Instagram video, he explains everything that he is.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's putting it out there. Well, and Excalibur was like, well, how do I get that point across to the casual TV people? So him being like, well, I've fought Tommy End. Yeah. But yeah, it's like I've fought Tommy End. That is the man Tommy End, but he is mentally he's not Tommy End. Like, like just something like that. Sure. But yeah, like nice look with the suit. Got like the contact and the makeup around the eye. We'll see how that plays out. But looks like I'm assuming he'll have like his first match will be against Cody.
I assume.
Which
if you're new to the company, you have first matches with Cody, I guess.
Yeah, there's a few people. Cody's one of them. Like, which makes sense. Yeah. Like you come in and you go after Cody.
Yes.
But yeah, he looks good. We'll see if, like you said, he's one of those. I say this nicely, but one of those like super artsy weirdos.
No.
That there is a good chance that people will be super into it.
Sure.
I think people are going to be super into it way more likely than they'll not care. Because he has like that Darby vibe.
Yeah.
So I assume the end game is going to be eventually have those two have a feud where they just make videos for a month leading up to the match, and then the match feels like a super big deal. Yeah. Because you don't have them fight each other for 6 months straight and then be like, oh, the final match ever. Be like, well, they fought each other 20 times.
I'm convinced that Buddy Murphy will
be involved.
Because they're feuding with each other on Twitter right now.
Yeah.
So,
well, and even if Murphy or Matt or whatever, I don't know what to call him, even if he shows up briefly.
Yes.
Like, just to pay that off a little bit, that's fine. But yeah, I'd have to assume he goes in there. Oh, the one other thing that feels noteworthy about that is supposedly there was a clerical error that Tommy End only had a 30-day no-compete back from his NXT days, and it never got updated to the 90-day.
Yeah. Well, Buddy Murphy, whatever his name is, he confirmed that I guess WWE called him and made sure that he didn't have the 30-day back.
That's hilarious.
That's great. I mean, whether that's true or he's just having fun with it, I don't know. But yeah,
I mean, I can see that being either way. It is weird that the WWE seems to run a business pretty tightly. Like like the people they release may be questionable at times to the fans, but yeah, that seems like a really weird oversight because they basically like heated them up with the promos, and then in 90 days maybe that would have cooled down some, but basically a month is not very long.
I mean, I can see it with a big business. I can see it because I remember once the place that we used to work for, they jacked my pay up like $10 more. So my bank account, I had a lot more money in it. I was like, "What in the world?" And I told my boss about it because I figured they would
get that money back.
Money, yeah. And I don't want to spend it because I know money. They're going to make sure they get that back.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see it happening.
Yeah. Well, and it's like one little thing where they updated it. And they probably were like, it wouldn't even be that big. Or they noticed it way too late. And it was like, it won't be that big of a deal. And they accidentally created a excellent scenario for that to all, like,
yes.
It would be, if a year from now, AEW is the biggest wrestling company on the planet, and Tommy End is the guy, this will be one of the craziest things to ever exist, I think.
They kind of did that for John Moxley, though, too. So
You know?
Well, yeah, it was weird because his just expired, like his contract was over, so there was no anything with it. But they gave him like that huge send off.
Yeah, they gave him a huge send off.
So,
I mean, I wonder if that was more about keeping Roman and Seth looking good as well. Like, because there's always the chance that he'll come back one day, and the Shield was a big deal. Shield will always be a big deal as long as they don't, like, at this point, Seth is the most likely to get buried somehow. But I don't think that'll happen. So, yeah, but it was pretty exciting. I'm curious if he'll get like some promo time next week or if he'll just beat up Cody more.
Yeah.
Mixed tag match happened. Orange Cassidy and Statlander against Bunny and the Blade. I like that the ghost of William Regal has possessed the Blade and just multiple brass knucks throughout the course of a match.
Yes.
So I guess Butcher is going to be back soon. Like there was something I saw that made me think that. I miss Butcher. He looks cool.
Is he injured or something?
Yeah, I think he had like an injury or something.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So this was a really weird segment because I walked out of the room and came back in. I don't know who Dan Lambert is. I'm familiar with American Top Team, but I was just like, what is going on here?
Why you sent you a text?
What
am I watching?
Yeah, like I had no answer. But Lance Archer came out and wrecked him. So, but yeah, that was like just a super weird. But people
I'll on my TV show and trash it. Can you do that? Yeah, I'll do that for you. Yeah.
Like Lance Archer's going to kill you after though, and you're going to have to look at Jake the Snake wearing like snake skin wristbands for some reason. But
yes.
But yeah, so I don't know. That was basically just cementing Lance Archer as a good guy for now. All right, main event. This match was freaking crazy.
Yes.
Penta and Eddie Kingston against the Young Bucks. I honestly thought there might be a chance for Penta and Kingston to win this.
Yeah.
I thought it was like less than 10%, but like the fact that the Bucks hadn't been beaten for so long and they let Kingston and Penta beat them to get the title match is a pretty big deal regardless. But they were just all over the place in this match doing crazy stuff.
I could live without the Young Bucks wearing skin tight shorts. I did that.
And that's exactly why they did it.
Sure.
They're like, you know what? When Shawn Michaels used to be a guest referee, that was pretty awesome. And he wore those shorts, so we're gonna do this. The finish of mouthful of thumbtack super kick. Where I saw someone post, they're like, there's probably a discussion where it's like, all right, so make sure to have the camera behind him. We're going to make it look like, Eddie, you just keep your mouth shut, but I'm going to really cover your mouth with my hand when I'm doing this, and we'll just drop him on the ground, and people will just assume it. And he's like, nah, just put him in there for real. Eddie, no. And then...
I want the risk of actually swallowing one. It's great. Let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Like, I could honestly believe that happened. Or at some point, Eddie Kingston was like, well, I got to have a mouthful of thumbtacks and at least, get hurt a little bit before the match so I know how to sell it like it really happened. Like, I could see one of those two situations happening. But yeah, so we're basically just waiting. Like I feel like the Bucks are primed to lose the titles. Like you were saying, it's time for somebody else. Like it's getting close. It feels like because they've just been so dominant. Like I don't know. I mean, but who's to say they don't hold the belts for another year at this point?
Yeah, I don't know who would get it. I mean, Proud and Powerful, but they're in a feud with FTR right now, so I don't know who would take it off them.
Yeah. I mean, they might be holding it until.
Please God.
Like,
please God, don't let the Lucha Express be the one.
Oh, Jurassic Express. Yes.
Whatever. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's someone's gonna have to beat because world title, you pretty much know it's gonna be Hangman. I don't know about the TNT title either. I don't know who's taking that thing off Miro. Jungle Boy, maybe. Like, I don't know how they pull that one off. Like, currently, I find that a hard sell unless it's like a sneaky pin.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
no, I'm against that.
So do you think we're gonna get so Dark Order got kicked off being the Elite this week? Do you think is the Dark Order? This is gonna be my wild prediction. So they're making the Spooky Cowboy movie, because that was mentioned a couple times. I think Dark Order is going to do its own vlog, and it's going to kick off with the Spooky Cowboy movie that them and Hangman made.
Maybe.
Like,
I'm
going to call that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, because it made the Dark Order is over now, and they're like, okay, we don't need to give you guys that much airtime anymore.
Right.
I don't
Well,
know.
it's also one of the biggest heel moves they could have done.
yes.
Because, like, if they go to Sammy's vlog, that's fine, because I watch it anyway. But I really like the Dark Order and Hangman and how they interact with everybody else is one of the more entertaining things on it. So,
Well, and it's funny that the Dark Order with Brody Lee was supposed to be like a really menacing group, and on BTE they were just a bunch of goofballs,
right?
And it's just funny. It's just funny how all that worked out.
Yeah, well, it's very telling that you could tell there were multiple times that the direction of the group changed, but they weren't given up on.
Sure.
Like, and whether that was like the guys in the Dark Order, because like Uno and Stu have talked about it a few times. Where like, we're done after like the phantom punches from the creepers. They're like, it's over, we're dead. Yeah, we're gonna get released now. But like, I assume the Bucks were involved, where they know that those guys are good and they can make things work. It's like, well, we're gonna have to pivot now. Let's see what we can do. But this is another one of those cases where it's good to see, because obviously Tony Khan didn't release them because he also had some degree of faith or was talked into it. It was the correct decision to just let them keep going.
Yeah. Well, and I think they do better as good guys / comedy routine. Just because John Silver is funny.
Yeah, Silver's funny. Uno's good, and like everybody in that group can go. So it's not hard for them to flip the serious switch on it and me believe it. So you can get Stu and Uno with tag belts one day, and it's not going to be hard to believe. Like, they've shown it. Because even Hangman, when he's around him, he's like a super goofy weirdo, but in ring, he's going to be like a force to be reckoned with. Like, it's a nice mix of stuff. And I think, honestly, if everything with Brody hadn't happened, they would have been like a strong heel group probably, but a little like they'd still be funny on being the Elite, but in ring they would have been more sinister or whatever, because of Brody's influence. So all right, well, I'd say that wraps up. We got Fyter Fest next week. We'll see what craziness happens there.
Yeah, I actually look forward to it. Can't wait.
It's nice to see the crowds again as well. If you're going to the show and I've won the lottery and you're sitting next to me with my sign pointing out I don't know what match the belt's being defended, please don't jump over the railing, because I don't want to accidentally get hit.
Hey, Ray Ross, this is how you get the heat right here, man. This is how you get the heat.
Yeah, if you see all of a sudden I'm there and you see that sign fly into the air, just know that some idiot is next to me and I'm getting out of there. So John Moxley doesn't throw Carl Anderson into the guy and knock me out too. Man. But yeah. So you want to go? We got like a couple minutes here. Have you? Or do you want to just call it?
We do really, really short, because I kind of need to.
Okay. Well,
but if you do really short, sure.
Well, let's go with this, because I think you can do this pretty quick. You watched Loki?
Yes.
How did you like Loki? Because I have not watched it yet.
I think it's. I'll say it's interesting.
Yeah.
I think you'll have to watch it maybe twice to understand what the hell is going on.
Yeah, because it's doing like time skipping or time loop kind of stuff.
It's time loop, time skipping, different altered universes. It's out there.
Okay, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah, because I didn't really watch the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
And I was able to kind of get into it because my wife's been watching it.
Yeah.
And I watched like 3 episodes last night, and I enjoyed it.
Okay. I might try to check it out. Most of the Marvel stuff has been pretty good. So all right, well, we'll call it there. We're hitting our target time that we set for the day.
Yes.
Some point in the future, I'm going to tell people about Final Fantasy. Not that they need any more good press currently. Blizzard's doing a pretty good job of making the case for them.
Yes.
Which is hilarious.
Yes.
But all right. Well, we'll be back next week, everybody. Stay safe. Watch out for fireworks, because I know around me people are still shooting them off because I don't know why.
And try to get that heat.
Yeah.
Try to get that.
Well, they got they're new. They got go away heat with me. I'll say that at this point. Me and my dog. So, all right, everybody. Later.